Hey guys, thank you for listening to this episode of Tips with T. On today, I have Mr. Austin with us. Hi, Mr. Austin. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being a guest on our show. So tell us more about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, so I do a lot of different things. By day, I'm a digital marketer, or at least I work at a digital marketing agency. I've got a long history of graphic design, video production, just a lot of different stuff. And a couple of years ago, I started my blog. So I was at the gym in 2017 and I was the only one in there. And I'm like, man, where is everybody? So I was kind of talking to some people that I know, and a lot of people were postponing their self-improvement goals for New Year's Day. And I'm like, well, it's October. Why are we going to waste so much time when we could be improving our lives every day? And so I started my blog, Daily New Year's. The whole idea was we get this surge of energy and motivation on New Year's Day. Well, what if you could kind of pretend tomorrow is going to be that day for me? And so I started that blog, and that took me through a journey of just learning about productivity, goal setting, and all these different success strategies. And that led me to write my book, which came out back in February. It's called Crush Your Goals. And so now I'm trying to turn that into an online course, and I want to get into public speaking. So I'm trying to build a huge platform just around helping people become more successful in their lives.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your book and why did you wrote it?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, I started the blog, and the whole, pretend like tomorrow is New Year's Day, that was kind of a limited scope. And so I really got into goal setting, and I implemented a lot of goal setting strategies just getting my blog launched and producing all this content, because I was releasing a blog post every week. And then I layered in a podcast, and I was producing one of those a week, all while having a job. So goal setting really helped me get all this stuff done. And one day I was like, you know what? I want to build my email list. So I'm going to do a short little 40-page book for a lead magnet. And that just snowballed out of control. So I started writing it, and it just became this huge book that I wrote. It's quite long. It's, I think, roughly 340 pages, which is, a lot more than that 40-page book I set out to write.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 16 chapters across 4 sections. And so section 1 is how to build what I call a goal-getter's mindset. How do you get yourself set up for success from day one? What kind of mindset do we need to build? How do we overcome some of the fears that have been holding us back for so long? There's 6 different fears that I dive into. Section 2 really dives into actual tactical goal setting strategies. I like to set annual goals, break those down into quarterly goals, and then, weekly and daily. So I kind of walk through how to do that and how to employ those strategies in your life. And then section 3 really covers how to build a success network around yourself. How do we get mentors, mastermind groups, accountability partners to help us succeed and help others succeed? And then section 4 is dealing with difficulties along the way. So I love goal setting. It's powerful. It's transformed my life. I think it can do the same for others, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows either. We're going to have motivation problems. We're going to have some setbacks,
Right.
maybe deal with failure. And so that section really deals with it. So this book is, it's really a start to finish guide, really, for
Mhm.
goal setting.
Well, that's awesome. Goal setting is very important. I tell people it's never too late to start setting goals, no matter what time of the year it is. Don't wait to say, "Oh, I'm just gonna wait to do that next year." No, you can be working on that now, laying out that blueprint for it now if you want to achieve that for next year. Um,
Absolutely.
so that's
Preach.
yeah. So I tell my clients this all the time. I actually had one client and our challenge for this week was for him to complete a vision board. Um, and then once you complete your vision board, you can basically sit down and write down, okay, well, how I intend on achieving this goal. But first, you need to see it. So that's like our kind of like accountability assignment that we're going to do this week is to complete a vision board so we can actually see it. And then we're going to work towards actually writing down goals on how we're going to achieve this particular goal that we want to reach in 2020. So
Absolutely.
Yes, I really feel like your book is very, very awesome. I really have to check it out. So, what are some of your goals now that you have completed the book?
You know, that's something I've struggled with. So I launched it on the 16th of February, and it was, I went into this phase where I was trying to hit the Amazon bestseller list, and managed to do that with a lot of love and support from the community and just people who go to my blog. Managed to hit that in 10 days. And then I was like, all right, what next? I want people to go out and buy the book, but that's not what it's all about. I want to help people, and
Hmm.
what's the next way that I can do that. And so I've had local people reach out about doing workshops and
Yeah.
speaking engagements and all this stuff. So honestly, I was struggling with a little bit of overwhelm, a little bit
Hmm.
of anxiety about what do I do next. And I think I've kind of zeroed in on building an online course
Hmm.
or building an online coaching platform more on a personalized basis. So if you've got the book and my book does come with 29 worksheets and self-assessments that kind of guide you through.
Hmm.
But I think some people might want to dive a little deeper and get some one-on-one coaching or maybe some video modules. So my next big goal is to build that. I got to do a lot of, you know, uh, self exploration and
Hmm.
figure out what that looks like. But I'm back to blogging. I'm back to podcasting. So when I was writing the book last year, I kind of put the Daily New Year's platform on hold. So I'm back to doing that. Um, before COVID-19 hit, I was training for some half marathons, and I might still try to do those. I didn't know about virtual races until all of this stuff started happening. And so you can actually go out and run your half marathon and then send in the screenshot of your Garmin or your app, and you can still get your medal mailed to you that way. And so
Wow.
I've got a few fitness goals that I'm working on. How about yourself?
That's awesome. Well, a couple of goals I'm working on too, like you were saying, I do eventually want to write a bio about myself. So I do want to write a book. Um a couple of my goals are basically just to get multiple streams of income. Not only because like I love um accounting and I love numbers and I love helping people, but like I also have other passions that I want to be able to turn that into a business too as well. So like, I'm into like the clothing, designing, I'm into makeup and stuff like that. So I'm like, I really take fond interest in stuff like that. So why how can I do that as like a hobby because I enjoy doing it, and then try to turn it into like a streaming income. So just working on different things like that as that nature. I have thought about doing an online course myself to teach my clients that I'm having as small business owners how to use QuickBooks. So trying to I got create well, I had the content for it. I just have to create the teaching videos for it, which can take time. so
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
I have to do that. So basically, just working on a couple of goals like that. But trying to actually stay on the course and stay focused. Because I do want to be able to, expand my business and my podcast channel, grow that as well. So because it did come to a point now where since I have a lot going on, and as far as like getting my stuff edited and put out and at a certain time, I really had to look into getting an assistant. And I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
time for me to get an assistant, time for me to realize that I have to outsource some things because I can't do it all by myself, because I'm getting to the point where now I'm doing like webinars and I'm doing seminars, and people want me to go out and teach in the community as far as the youth, teaching them about financial literacy. So yeah, so definitely it could be a lot. It
Yeah.
could be overwhelming at times, but once when you have these goals set and organization is key, I feel like you can achieve it. You might have a couple of setbacks, but at least you have a plan in mind that you can
Yeah.
work on.
Yeah, I kind of call that the dark side of goal setting. So it's great to be ambitious. It's great to have a lot of goals, and they say that if you hit all your goals, you're not setting them high enough. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you're always setting your goals a little bit out of reach, there's always going to be a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of overwhelm on how do I get it all done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we just have to temper our expectations. Like, it's okay if we don't get everything done. It's okay that maybe occasionally we have lack of clarity, lack of focus. You just have to step back and constantly reevaluate.
Right. So whenever you were saying that, like I try to advise people to make realistic goals, because sometimes we make goals and they are attainable, but there might not be realistic in that time frame because there's other little steps that you have to take to get to that goal to make it realistic. And a
Hmm.
lot of people don't really realize that. I'm like, well, that goal can be obtainable, but is it realistic for where you are right now? And if it's not, what little steps are you going to take to get there to make that goal realistic? And people will be like, oh, okay, I haven't really thought about that. I'm like, yeah, like you goal setting and goal thinking is a process. So you can't just like, and then you don't want to overwhelm yourself either. So you have to really make realistic goals, obtainable goals, so you can achieve and get to where you need to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. Realistic can mean a lot of different things, right? Do I have the ability to do this, the time to do this?
Mm-hmm.
I talk a lot about goal competition. So a lot of times we set a goal and we don't account for all the other goals we have. And when we have too many goals competing against our time, our resources, our energy, it can make a goal unrealistic, or it could be the wrong time, because we all have goals that maybe we don't count as goals.
Mm-hmm.
My wife wants me to do a few things around the house. Those are goals. So I need to make sure that I account for those and write those down among all my other personal goals. My boss has goals for me at work. We've got to write all these down and account for everything, and now say, okay, do I have time? Is it realistic to do these other three things? And so goal competition is something I've struggled with in the past. And now that I understand it, I can constantly keep an eye on that and see what's competing for my attention.
Mm-hmm. Right. Um, so what type of strategies do you give or have you used to implement to achieve goals so we won't get overwhelmed and so we can overcome fear and all those type of things? So what type of strategies you use?
Oh man, there's so many. And, right now I'm actually giving away, but my book comes with a free PDF workbook with those 29 self-assessments. And normally I reserve that for people who are paying for the book. But right now I'm running a promotion on dailynewyears.com, giving that set of worksheets away for free. Because for me, the biggest strategy is planning and breaking things down.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to be a national level speaker someday, that's a huge goal. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've got to break that. Maybe that's a 3 to 5 year goal. So what can I do this year to move the needle on that? Maybe that's get 5 speaking engagements. Okay, now let me break that down into the first quarter of the year, the second quarter of the year. What do I need to do in quarter one? Maybe that is to build out some sales material, some marketing material to put myself out there. Maybe that's start networking. And then maybe the second quarter is start reaching out and trying to book some gigs. And
Mm-hmm.
so really the biggest strategy is just don't let yourself get too overwhelmed. Don't look at such a big, massive goal and get scared of it. It's just break things down. And then once you have it broken down, weekly, daily, monthly, whatever that looks like, just continually build momentum. Just keep building momentum and compounding your success every day, and just work towards it. And so
Right.
there's a lot of different strategies you can use to do that. There's habit goals. If you want to read 20 books in a year, can
Mm-hmm.
you build a excuse me, a daily reading habit?
Mm-hmm.
If it's to write a book, maybe it's writing 500 words per day and having a habit. So there's just all these different little things. Prioritization is key. So I
Mm-hmm.
use Eisenhower matrices. If you've never heard of that, it's a 2x2 matrix. It's in the book. You can Google it too, but it's urgent versus important. And so if something is both important and urgent, that needs to be done first. But if it's not urgent and not important, maybe it doesn't need to be done at all. So it allows you to kind of dump your to-do list into this matrix to see what should I be working on. So there's just a lot of little things that you can
Mm-hmm.
do. And I don't use them all every day. If I find myself overwhelmed, I might use the Eisenhower matrix. If I'm, running pretty smoothly, I'll just focus on my daily and weekly big three goals. What are the big three things I need to do this week? And then what are the big three things I need to do every day to move the needle towards those things?
Right.
So is there any particular strategy that you use yourself?
Well, I always have my trusty planner. This is
Oh
what I
yeah.
use. Um, but I've recently purchased a goal planner. a goal organizer from Walmart, and it actually has it where you can see it by the whole year what you're trying to accomplish. Then you can break
Mm-hmm.
it down to monthly. Then you can break it down to weekly. Then you can break it down to daily. And
Absolutely.
so I was just like, let me try that. But I'm gonna try to start working on that next week because I just completed my vision board. So now I want to actually take what's on my vision board and write it down to how I'm going to achieve this, just not make a vision board. So basically I'm going to try that. That's my first time actually trying that. Normally what I do, I just use my planner and write down weekly goals for myself, which I still do. But however, since I have so much going on now, I feel like it's best for me to actually try to use that goal organizer so I can achieve
Mm-hmm.
all my goals and like have organization, and then actually learning and realizing where I need to make sacrifices at. Because some goals might not be like you said, you might not want to achieve that goal or it might not be worth achieving. So making sacrifices too, as far as how I'm going to delegate my time. Am I going to get up extra early in the mornings so I can get things done, so I can still have time to do other things? So you really just have to really just prioritize. So that's what I'm going to try to do
Yeah.
with my
And,
goals.
and there, and there's a lot of planners out there. Is yours for the whole year or does it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's for the
I
whole year.
use, I use Michael Hyatt's full focus planner.
Oh, okay.
It's rather expensive. Sometimes it gives me a little heartburn, but it's a quarterly planner. So he ships you one every quarter, and they're like $45 a piece. But it really has a lot of self assessments and guided things you can do daily and weekly, some rituals, so to speak. And I need that. If you give me just a notebook that's empty pages, I'll be like, ah.
Right.
But when you have the guided planner, it really helps. And writing your goals down, I think it's 42%. If you write your goals down every day, you're 42% more likely to achieve success than just
Mm-hmm.
kind of keeping them bouncing around in your
In your
brain.
head.
So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it helps a lot.
yeah, and you tend to forget things, and you're like, "Oh, I forgot to do this." So I'm getting, especially when you got a lot of going on. So I get to the point where now, at least once a week, I'm writing down things that I want to achieve for the following week. Basically, that'll be my reflecting day, where I sit down. I look at what I achieved so far this week, and then what I haven't achieved, and if I need to try to achieve it the next week, write it down as for one of my goals to achieve for the following week. So,
Yeah, I think that Sunday or Monday, whichever day you decide to do it, I do it Monday morning, but reviewing the previous week, what were my wins? So every single day I write down my daily wins.
mm-hmm,
Some days it's hard. It's like, man, what went well today? Um, but if you really dig deep, you can find several things that you could classify as successes. And each day, maybe it's just going grocery shopping. Maybe that you've been putting it off and you went,
mm-hmm,
hey, I went grocery shopping today. I finally got it done.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes I write down stuff like that. Sometimes it's huge stuff like, hey, I wrote a whole new blog post. And then on Sunday, I review that and then I plan, what am I going to do this week? And then just allowing yourself some grace and some flexibility if it doesn't always go to plan.
Yeah. And I always teach my clients to give yourself room for error because we're not perfect. We might
Yeah.
not always remember to do everything. And then also too, when we're planning to achieve goals, plan self-care goals. So we won't forget about ourselves. Because we as entrepreneurs, we tend to forget about ourselves a lot. We tend not to put ourselves first when we should. And our
Hmm.
health and our well-being is important. So, you might want to schedule time in your day for you to go to the gym. Schedule time in your day for you to go get a massage or whatever you like to do for self-care. Um, Make that part as your goals and your daily regimens as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I try to set goals in several different categories, professional at work, relationship with my wife, um, kind of, I don't know what category you'd put them in, but I'm a homeowner, so there's always
Mm-hmm.
things to do around the house. So I've got
Mm-hmm.
kind of those home goals, spiritual goals, whether, depending on your faith, you could be meditating or reading the Bible or whatever that is. So there's just a lot of categories you can put your goals into. And if all your goals are always professional or kind of side hustle, you're
Yeah.
not going to have a truly fulfilled and well-rounded
Life.
life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. That's why I really had to, like, when I sat down and did my vision board, I was just like, okay, I need to have personal and I need to have business. Um, so I can have a well balanced and rounded life. Because if you're all business and it's a struggle when you're trying to develop other relationships with people, or create new relationships, dating, because you just focus on just one aspect of your life, so you have to be focused on all the aspects when it comes to goal setting and looking at your future.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So awesome, Austin. I'm glad you came on the show today. Share all your helpful information and tips. Um, so tell us how we can contact you, how we can purchase your book, and I'm gonna share the screen so we can see your social handles.
Okay, yeah, awesome. So I guess the place that you could probably learn the most about me, or find out the most about me, is my main website, which is dailynewyears.com. That's got links to my social handles. It's got links to my book, the free worksheets that I mentioned earlier. I also have a website, crushyourgoalsbook.com, and that's where you can learn a little bit more about the book. You can purchase that on Amazon, so the links are there, or you can just head over to Amazon and search Crush Your Goals, and you'll find it there. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Most of those are Austin J. Bollinger is the handle. Twitter is just Austin Bollinger, but to be honest, I'm not super active on Twitter. I've just never quite gotten it. Whereas LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, I just get those platforms and it's fun to engage with people there. I always am looking, if somebody reaches out to me and has goal setting questions, or just wants a little bit of coaching, I'm always happy to chat with people, whether that's on a Zoom call like we're doing now, or just through the DMs, on those platforms. So I encourage people, if you have questions or want to talk about maybe how you can get some clarity in your life, or what goals should be pursuing, I'm happy to chat with you.
Awesome. So you guys take advantage of that. Please take advantage of it. And if you want to get in contact with me, my number is 910-317-0396. You can shoot me an email as well at contact at mjfinancial.biz. You can also schedule a consultation with me, www.mjfinancial.biz. And you can find this episode on Anchor, you guys. And you can also find this episode on the YouTube channel for M&J Financial Management. So, Austin, thank you once again for being on the show. Good luck with everything. I really do look forward to your coaching. I think you will be an awesome, goal setting coach and a mentor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks for having me. This has been a lot of fun. I love talking about this stuff. So any opportunity, I just appreciate so much.
Well, thank you once again. And all right, you guys, we will see you on the next episode.
Take care.